Hey, coaches and athletes, really excited to have on this week's episode of Three Down Development kind of a deep dive on rushing the passer and more specifically, rushing dynamic athletic passers. It's something that, obviously from the high school game right on up to the pro game on both sides of the border is becoming something that teams need to have new and modern answers for. As quarterbacks, no longer are you looking at guys, is this guy a runner or a passer? You're looking at some guys that are elite in both levels. They can make deep and intermediate throws, as well as make guys miss. And what I'm seeing a lot when I watch, some of the college football, NFL football, and it makes me think of, often defending running quarterbacks myself. Quarterbacks are making less and less mistakes because they know, hey, we can always pick up five on the ground with our feet, something that they can do comfortably. And so you're not, as a defensive coordinator, getting guys to throw into tight coverage where you might be able to force a turnover or get a big incompletion to get off the field. And you're not getting those sacks that maybe you used to get from a quarterback sitting in the pocket, holding the ball. Those quarterbacks are either getting out of the pocket and being able to throw the ball away, or even worse, they're able to, hurt you with yards on the ground or at least get back to that line of scrimmage. So it was something that was interesting to me to kind of look at. And obviously, at any level, you can look at a number of different players, but just looking at some of the young quarterbacks in the NFL, whether it's, Josh Allen, obviously Kyler Murray set the league on fire this year. Lamar Jackson was an MVP last year. Mahomes is really underrated, I think, at it, just getting out of the pocket and either being able to throw the ball away or pick up big first downs with his feet at times. And even you look on this side of the border, obviously the stuff that Trey Ford's been able to do at the University of Waterloo, one of the most dynamic players that I've seen in my time coaching in the OUA and in the summer football circuit in Ontario as well. But even beyond a guy like Trey, who might be the obvious answer, Chris Merchant's a fantastic runner at Western's, quarterback that just graduated, a guy that could really hurt you as a passer and a runner. Obviously Clay Zakara at U of T put up huge numbers the last couple of years, and his ability to do that with his legs and through the air as well. So there's lots of guys that kind of put themselves in that category, and you look at, as a high school coach, how often do you defend a team that their best player is their quarterback because he's their best athlete. So finding a way to rush the passer, get pressure, but also just kind of neutralize that athlete in the pocket and not give him easy throws, but also create some pressure, create some confusion, and take away his ability to run you or hurt you running the football. Really, when I did this study, I was fortunate. I looked at a lot of things. I got some great input from some awesome people, including Coach Vass, who's helped me out a ton, taking a look at some of this stuff. And it's really interesting to me, the variety of different defenses. So some people are 30 front, 40 front, different structures and different concepts. Teams play a lot of man, teams play a lot of quarters, teams play some cover three, teams that blitz, teams that sit back. There's so many different answers, but there's some common themes that I saw. And one of those things is you need at least some way to defend these modern athletic dynamic quarterbacks without saying, hey, we're going to play coverage or we're going to play blitz. You need to have something intermediary between those two. Maybe you're able to play some matchup zone coverage. Obviously, that's a whole episode in itself. But you're able to either bracket somebody, a really good receiver, double a really good receiver, or be able to play kind of that matchup zone idea where you're going to have guys that are running with receivers like man, but more support or more numbers to each side than man. If you look at the top of your screen here, and I'm not going to take a deep dive on the coverage on these couple of clips that I start with, but Georgia here is able to have 3 over 2. And you look at having your 2 over 1 on the backside, or at least this player in the middle of the field, he's going to, from a pre-snap position, he might end up, fitting differently into the coverage, but he could double this backside player as well. So without playing pure straight man, you look at some of your old, pressures, you're bringing 6, you're playing cover 0, somebody's manned up on the back, or you're bringing your cover 1 pressures and you're just bringing your Mike, or you're bringing your Will off the edge. So you need a way to create pressure without only being able to do that out of a cover 0 look. And I also think you need a way to create situations where your guys can actually make a tackle. And in looking at some of these mobile quarterbacks, and the first one we'll look at is Tua here at Alabama, they're capable of making guys miss. So if you just pin your hair back and go after him, if one guy misses, that could end up being the team's biggest run play of the day, where that quarterback now takes off. The DBs are chasing receivers around the field, and there's a 30, 40-yard run there for the quarterback. So we're going to first look at creating pressure without necessarily blitzing a player. And I think the old school answer would have been, well, we'll spy a guy, and our ends have to contain the quarterback. Well, some of these guys are honestly so dynamic that, yes, being able to contain the quarterback is an important part of base defense, but having some other ways to create the illusion of pressure while also being sound on the back end and having someone responsible for the quarterback who is athletic enough and in a leverage position to make that play, I think is important. So the first idea you're going to look at here, and this is some of the Georgia odd mirror stuff. The first thing we're going to look at here is, how do I rush 4 or rush 3 and spy and still make the quarterback uncomfortable? The first idea I want to look at is, whenever I have a spy, I want his job to be predictable, and it's got to be a player that can actually tackle the quarterback. So if your Mike isn't athletic enough to take this quarterback in space, then you either need to find a way to make sure he doesn't get into space, which is pretty tough, or you got to find a different player to make your spy or even make your extra blitzer. So here, Georgia's in a 30 front, and they're going to walk up both these inside linebackers. Now, obviously, stopping, the run, base zone stuff out of this, that's a whole other podcast in itself. Just talking about creating pressure, they're going to walk these two guys up, and it's a common theme you'll see across a lot of different teams, is to create these 5-0 looks. The first step is you want to create one-on-ones to your defensive lineman. Because if you're going to sack or get pressure on these mobile quarterbacks, you're not going to be able to tackle these guys if, you're getting double teamed, or you're not going to be able to tackle these guys if you're not, really cleanly winning your one-on-one. So the first thing you're going to do to try and make that happen is walk these guys up and try and create the illusion of a 5-man pressure where they've got to go 5 for 5 up front and then scan the back. So you see here how that creates a one-on-one here with both defensive ends, right? Great. Now we got 2 defensive ends working up the field. The second idea is you want to force that quarterback to be uncomfortable. So to either feel pressure or get off the spot. So we'll pull up, I'll drop in the drawing for this in a sec, but you're going to see the end work up the field and back inside to the back, okay? And then the nose is going to occupy the center, and he's going to loop to contain to the C-gap to that side. Now you might think, okay, mobile passer, you're looping your nose out there to contain. We still have a spy on the quarterback, but what we're doing here is we're trying to build a wall. Okay, this is almost a downfield inside move. He's still trying to stack and win that inside move back up the field, but we're building a wall to the throwing side here for Tua, the side of the back in this case, where we're getting now this nose to loop around and the end to dive inside. We're telling him, hey, you are not escaping out this side. Okay, I got 2 defensive linemen in the B and C gap. This walked up linebacker has the back, so the back winds up crossing the set, and that's what pulls this linebacker here. Okay, but he's also in position if this back blocks, where he now can be a potential spy for the quarterback. All right, but you see here he winds up engaging as the back tries to get stuck there on the chip. He's got the back. The other backer walked up is going to spy. So this defensive end here, and there's different ways you can do this. You don't have to have the end rush inside. Okay, here the end's going to rush inside again. We're attacking that initial throw spot with 2 defensive ends inside. Now Tua, a pretty good player, stands in here. Okay, we see we get the nose free. This is going to create a lane for Tua to escape outside, which normally you'd think, oh, I don't want that with an athletic passer. But here is my spy sitting on it. And that spy knows, hey, number one, in this case, it's to the boundary, which is great. And it's away from Tua's throwing shoulder, which is great. But here, this spy has leverage, and he knows if he escapes, hey, if this guy escapes this way, yes, the spy is going to work to it, and it's great to have that free guy. But we're pretty confident that if our defensive end can get up the field and we loop the end of that side, and if this back doesn't release, we almost buy a free player here who could be pretty quick to that. All right, now this spy is ready, and you see him here. He's waiting. He's being patient. Okay, and if we're able to cover down here down the field. We've got 3-on-2 here, 3-on-2 here. We got to feel pretty good about this in coverage, and we have the quarterback now in a situation where he has to roll to the spy. So we want to, I've heard some people say set the trap or create a wall and spy away from it, or create a wall and have a blitzer away from it. We're creating the wall here with these two defensive linemen, okay, with hopefully one-on-ones because we got these guys walked up. We are attacking and spiking and getting him off the spot with this second defensive end. Again, working an inside move on a one-on-one, right? He winds up eating up the back, coming through there. He might be clean coming through. And now our spy has leverage and he knows where to go. Now, you might look at that and say, what's the difference? You're running a twist, right? Great, and you're spying the quarterback. Well, we're aligning our twist such that we are hopefully forcing the quarterback to roll to our spy in this case. And you see here, we only really rush 3. One guy's got the back, and then we have that delayed rush on the quarterback. He can't now get out to the field, okay? And I have him pinned in the boundary with the spy, force him to deliver the ball into coverage. Winds up being an interception. If we look at the tight here again, you see the walked up, okay? The O-line is going 5 for 5. 1, 2, yes, he's getting a little hand on the nose, but he's occupied here, okay? He's working across in protection as he scans edge to edge. You see the back ultimately doesn't get out, right? We ultimately eat up 6 pass protectors with these 2 guys who spike inside. We have great leverage here if we can spill the quarterback to that linebacker, which is what we want to do. Okay, our nose is looping. Now, I know your nose may not be this athletic. Something maybe you're in a sub personnel and it's your 3-tech playing nose, or, you're able to play. Maybe you've got third defensive end can come in the game there. But either way, even if this guy doesn't make the tackle, we don't need him to make the tackle. He's a disruptor. He's setting the wall. He's telling Tua, hey, I can't roll into these 2 defensive linemen. And because we're eating these guys up, the back doesn't get out. Even though this guy's technically got the back, okay, he is in a position where if Tua was to try and push this out, he can play it over the top this way, and 56 can play it over the top that way. Winds up getting what we want, the ball forced into coverage. Is the second one I really like from Georgia. The front's a little bit different, and you could get to a similar front, I guess, in a number of ways. But the idea of the rush pattern I love. And again, the idea of we're going to build a wall with our guys that we don't think can really make this tackle one-on-one. We're going to put multiple guys in a position to influence the quarterback away from our players who might struggle to make this tackle one-on-one, and invite him to our players that can. So here, Georgia, again, you look at a situation where they're able to play 3-on-2 and 3-on-2, and we're going to have 5 guys in the rush, but one of them has the back. And we talked about that in the last one, who has the back and who has the spy. Similar idea here. A lot of these you're going to see, if they're 5 or 6 man pressures, we're peeling with the back so that we don't have to play pure man coverage on the back end. Now, if you have the guys that can play pure man coverage, great. You can run this and not have to peel with the back. Or if you're playing a team that maybe you're willing to take your chances, that's one thing. But I never like solutions that force me into just playing man. So here the front's a little bit different. We actually have our 2 defensive, our defensive end and our nose guard in their 30 front. I think they're in a sub package here, so they're probably both defensive ends. They're lined up in the C and B gaps weak, but we still have that 5-0 look. So we have ends lined up in the C's. We have a Will linebacker lined up over the center, our Mike linebacker lined up over the guard, and a nose and a defensive end lined up on the boundary. And you'll see here they actually do release the back. So I'll show you this if they didn't release the back, and then we'll be able to see with them releasing the back. We're going to build our wall again here, but a little bit differently this time. We are going to take our field side defensive end. You can see him with the wide split. And this is something I've seen a little bit in the OUA, not a ton. And, it's hard to, I don't know exactly what they're intending to do here, but this is what it looks like to me. They're taking this defensive end, and they're actually going to run him on what's called the long loop. So he's going to work around, and they're going to influence the quarterback, again, to escape to the boundary to escape to his right here towards the back. And they're going to have this defensive end almost try and run and catch up to him from behind. Our two defensive linemen on this side are going to spike, okay, across or both down inside. All right, and now they're really trying to, again, those are like our two defensive ends on the last one. We're trying to flush this quarterback, okay? He sees the two athletic linebackers here. That's where our two spies are going to come from, or our running back player and our spy player, okay? The inside guy in the center is going to occupy the center, and then he is going to loop to the C gap, and he has the back if the back releases to his side. So we will actually see that here. Back releases, and the looper runs with them. Okay. The second player is going to be our spy player. So we're occupying the center and the guard. We're going to run our defensive end to the opposite side, and we're going to try and crash off the spot with these two defensive players. Now the quarterback sees right here, hey, I got two linebackers walked up. That's probably the least likely escape lane. And we see here, that end goes flying up the field. Again, he's running that long loop. These two are trying to work to force this quarterback out this way to where we would have the looper if the back didn't release, or we at least have this second spy. So this spy's job here, a little bit harder, I'd say, than the first one, because he is going to sit here and wait for that quarterback, and now he's going to work over the top if that quarterback does fully try and escape to the boundary. If not, he can kind of settle up in the middle of the field here. He's got the quarterback. So yes, you have no contained player on this side because the back released. So the linebacker has to peel with the back. But we do have a spy player. So if the quarterback does turn and run, say, he sees this pressure, right, and he tries to roll out this way, our spy player can now balance out the rush. And if you have a really mobile quarterback, having that, athletic linebacker, maybe it's an undersized defensive lineman who's really quick, freed up on that player, is probably as good as telling your end to rush the C and try and have him contain it. Because now what's going to happen, hopefully, is we're going to push him off the spot. So he now has to get out here or here. And our spy player's sitting here. If he goes the other way, he'll wrap over the top. And that'll give this guy time to pick him up on the other way around. So you can imagine if he rolled out here, he's now going to play on top of him, forcing him to stay back and try and throw the ball downfield. And that's going to give this guy time to set the trap and hopefully play for that strip sack. It's great to see it here with the peel. We'll show it from the tight in a sec. Again, we're forcing a contested throw into a 3-on-2 situation. We have the back covered down. We're able to put this quarterback in a tough spot. And you can see 52, the center does a pretty good job here of getting back and engaged, but 52 is going to try and work through that spot. 7, he's spying the quarterback. Wherever that quarterback decides to go with the football, that's where he's going to insert in his rush. Okay, and then we're working to set the trap door here with 17. One of the things I really enjoyed is looking at some film of how teams are defending De'Aaron King at Miami. Obviously a really athletic, dynamic quarterback who's shown that he can throw the ball down the field. So we're looking here at Clemson, how they D'd him up. It was really interesting. I thought they were a great study in the guys that we want spying or sacking the quarterback have to be our players that are capable of doing it. So if you have a 3-tech or a 1 technique or even a big, really solid defensive end who you don't think if he's the free rusher, he can handle that quarterback in space, don't put him in that situation. So we're going to see from them, and I saw it a few different times, looking at this set, they're going to run a similar idea about creating walls to one side, and then they would do it with either a blitzer or a spy guy away. So you can imagine here, you can even see by the set, there's no immediate edge player to this side for the quarterback. Okay? What I saw from them a few times is sometimes they would leave 6 out in coverage, and they would have a sub personnel, or they would have this linebacker spy the quarterback, and they would rush. They might work a game here where they're going to set the wall on this side, and they're going to invite the quarterback to leave the pocket and then their spy has leverage on it. And again, their spy knows, hey, he's not going to step up here, or scramble here. We have 3D linemen working that job, okay? And they may do it also with just a straight crash to it, all right, and have him work hard in that C gap. But the spy would know in that situation, hey, I know that if this quarterback's getting out, he's getting out here, and I can play it with leverage. The second concept that I think they did a great job of is bring 4, okay, and get your best players in a position to be that spy or be that blitzer. So here they have, I think it's their nickel. They're going to bring him off the edge. Okay, and again, this is a situation where depending on what coverage you want to play, you have a lot of options on the back end. And here they bring 6 off the edge. So 6 comes off the edge. Great. The back takes him. You can see they're setting the wall here, right? They're working 3 guys to the boundary side. Now they have one of their best athletes where if he's going to escape, he's not escaping on a defensive end. He's escaping on a defensive back. Okay. And then you see 47 ultimately is in a position to be able to spy the quarterback if he escapes. Now I would say they're probably bringing 6 and 47 has the back. But ultimately the back stays in to protect. So again, we've got a one-on-one here. Gotta love it anytime we get the back one-on-one. We have 5 offensive linemen blocking 3 defensive linemen. And now this back can't release. He's engaged blocking here. We still have an athletic player that can now balance the rush. And again, do they get unbelievable pressure here? No. This running back, hangs in. But the defensive line does a great job. Set the wall. He is not escaping to this side. Including the back, they've got 6 players involved in pass blocking these 3 guys, which frees up players for your quarterback. Ultimately, King sees that, tries to get back out away from it, right? But you've got that wall set, and you're in a great position because you have the right people doing the right job. These 3 defensive linemen are not going to have to tackle, the best player on the other team in space. They're going to tackle him, but they have 3 defensive linemen on this side. They can work together to own this side of the field. Now you get your blitzer and a late spy or a late add-in here from 47 when they don't release them. All right, similar idea. Now looking at a defense that plays a lot more man-to-man coverage. There's a lot of teams that would probably play more man-to-man coverage if they had some of the secondary players that Ohio State had. But what I love about Ohio State and how they get after athletic passers, this is just looking at last weekend with Pendrix there. I think is how you say the quarterback at Indiana's name, a guy who's having a huge year as a dual threat guy, can really hurt you down the field, but is also a very good athlete as well. Ohio State, again, walking guys up. Now they're playing straight cover 1 across the board. I get that. If that's not your deal and you want to play some kind of zone behind this, that's great. If you want to bring 1 less guy and play zone, that's great. The idea that I love, again, is creating one-on-ones by walking guys up. You see here they have 6 up on the line of scrimmage. Walking those guys up, creating one-on-one, so hopefully you get a guy that can win clean, but then also using a rush pattern that's going to allow your guys to be successful at what they do. So again, here we see they're going to drop initially. I think I have it drawn up as the Mike lined up here in the weak A gap. He's going to pop and become the spy and look to insert where the rush opens up. They're going to rip the end hard inside, and they're going to bring their Sam linebacker, one of the more athletic players on their defense, off this field edge. And now the linebacker is going to work from initially he's occupying this boundary guard. Now he's going to work over the top as a spy. And again, they're able to get good pressure and force the ball into contested coverage. So taking a look at this again here, obviously here we're bringing a little more pressure. I think 5 is just blitz into the back. Okay, so again, if the back releases, he's going to peel with it. And 20 here does a nice job of occupying this guard, at least initially. Right, he's not able to set right to this. It lets the defensive end get upfield, work back inside. You see, again, it creates these one-on-ones. This is what we want. So they end up sliding 4 to this, okay, and try and bring the back across the set. Well, now you're bringing the back across the set. We're getting a one-on-one here. So what I'm talking about, we want to get clean one-on-one wins. And now I have a shot at this quarterback. Right, again, you see our wall being formed here. Our athletic blitzer opposite the wall. And then 20, here's our spy player. Now they're doing it, Clemson was doing it by bringing 4 and then a late 5th. Here they're bringing 5 and then a late 6th with 20. Okay, but you see here, we're setting this edge. Even if he now goes to work out, you see 20 already. He hasn't moved, but 20 knows, hey, if this guy gets out, he's getting out right here. So we're able to spy in an area instead of having to spy, the quarterback, where if you just line up and rush 4, and now I got to be able to take the quarterback wherever he pops out. Here, 20 is able to cheat, which if you're dealing with one of those super athletic quarterbacks. All right, similar idea here. This is the same game. This is actually 2 plays before the previous play. Here's, a more basic 40 front look. Okay, so they're not looking like they're bringing pressure. They could be in a lot of different coverages here. Okay, there again, you're going to see we're bringing 6, but we're peeling the back. So this is again cover 1. I wouldn't necessarily say you have to bring all these guys. You're peeling with the back. So if we're playing cover 1, great. We still have that one free player. Maybe you can bracket double a specific player. But again, we're getting a 5-man pressure into a 5-man protection with some movement. And again, you're going to see that concept of we're going to build the wall here to the field. The 1 tech is going to rip across the face. The 3 tech and the end are going to rush hard on that edge. Here's our wall. We're 3 for 3. Our 3D linemen that are rushing, right, are going to say, hey, this guy's not getting out to the field. The end here is the edge player. So he's got to peel with the back. So you see him peel with the back. And now we're getting our Will and our Mike blitzing off this edge. Now you could say too, hey, 5, you're going to spy the quarterback and the Will is going to add in the B gap. This end would rush the C if the back doesn't release. So the back releases. Now the Will's got to work to contain. And now 5 is going to be able to spy that quarterback. Again, we get a free runner, force the ball second and 10, second and 9. We're forcing the throw in tight coverage for 1 yard. Again, you see it here. They actually line up the boundary side defensive tackle on a 3 tech. And you see them peel out with the back. And here, we've been talking mostly about getting free rushers to the blitz side because the O-line's sliding away with that wall. Here's our wall, right? I'm telling this defensive end, hey, you're hard up the field. You're making sure he cannot get out this way. If he goes anywhere, he's going to go this way into our athletic players, into our blitzers. 5 comes clean as he wraps around. Really tough if you're getting a slide. And again, we get a rushed, contested throw where we get him off the spot. And our players that can actually finish this thing are rushing the quarterback to where he is going to escape to. All right, last one. And this was one I really enjoyed. Again, looking at De'Aaron King. This is Louisville's defense. You see here, similar to the Georgia front. And I don't know what positions these guys play. 9 looks like he could be a defensive lineman too. I don't know. But 7 and 9 are walked up and they're standing up. So they might be linebackers. You got a defensive end here. And you got this guy with his hand in the dirt. Again, I'm not sure which of these guys play which position. This may be still 4 down defensive linemen. But certainly 9 looks like one of their more athletic big guys on defense. 95. The D end with his hand in the dirt here and this interior guy are certainly 2 of the bigger guys as well. So 7, clearly a really good athlete. Just watching this play out and watching the rest of this game, he plays kind of a hybrid position on their defense. So here we're going to line up again with 6 up. So not even 5 up, we get 6 up. Okay, 38 is just rushing to the back. Again, if the back goes, 38 is going to go with them. Okay, and then we're going to get 5-on-5. If they pro is 6, we're going to get 6-on-6. Again, you'll see the idea. We're going to set a wall to this side. 38 off the edge again. He could peel. The back stays in. We get 4-on-3. Okay. And now this end is going to work hard up the field. 7 is spying the quarterback. And while he's spying the quarterback, he's occupying this guard. And we're going to get edge pressure. Edge pressure. We're going to set that wall. And we're going to loop athletes back towards the football. So if he wants to get out of here right now, boom, 7's got him. Right? If he wants to try and step up here right now, boom, 7's got him. We're spying him with a very athletic player. 7 can hang as well as anyone on their defense with anybody across the field. Okay, 95 is now going to work back inside. And again, that movement, we get a free runner. We get the quarterback off his spot. And taking a look at this, clear wall here. Right, we have an edge rusher. We're working hard up the field. We have 3 to that side. That's telling the quarterback, hey, I am not escaping out this side. All right, I still have an edge rusher here, but even if this guy gets held, even if this guy gets too anchored into this block and King tries to get out, I have an athletic player in a position to finish him. And if he wants to step up, I got that looper back underneath. So the main things that I want to emphasize there is, one, you need to have enough players on the field that are athletic enough to tackle the quarterback, that you can give these guys some of these jobs and feel good about that they can actually finish the play. Second big idea is you got to create some pressure because these guys can hurt you down the field, right? You can't just sit there and spy, 15 times a game and say, hey, we're going to rush 3 or 4 and we're going to hope that we can A, get this kid on the ground if he escapes, and B, create some pressure. So I love these 5-0 looks where we're lined up. Here they get a 6-0 look because the back's in there. Well, we've got 5 guys on 5 guys and we're going to create some one-on-ones. Now, those one-on-ones may not ultimately sack the quarterback, but if those one-on-ones can create pressure to his side or build that wall, and then you can have athletic finishers opposite the other side of that wall, whether that's a looper, like we see here with 95 in the stunt, or whether that's a spy, a guy who's athletic enough and knows where the quarterback is going to escape to, I think that puts you in a great position to put the quarterback in a spot where, hey, he's got to throw the ball contested down the field, take some shots, and ultimately, hopefully, force some sacks and some turnovers. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and follow us on all 3 aspects of our social media platform.